So today we're gonna have the second part of Linux and shell lesson. Do you see the screen with the presentation?
Yes.
Yes, good, good. So some of the theses will gonna repeat from our first part, but it's quite a bit important for you to remember. So let's talk about the Linux file system and some related shell utilities, commands, and concepts. So let me remind you that Linux file system is a file system with a tree structure where you have, like a root directory, and starting from this root directory, all others files, directories, and that's it. File and directories are located. So it's indicated like tree, yeah, and traversing over the file system and notation. I mean recording as you want it is using file path. Yeah, so like slash directory name slash directory name slash file name. So there are two types of file path in Unix Linux systems. And the first type of file path is absolute path. Yeah. So, and what you have to know about absolute path, they always start from the root directory. So as I shown on the last lecture, for example, something like slash directory name slash file name is an absolute path. There are also relative path, which starts from the current directory, and the current directory is notated like a dot. So, and dot can be skipped. So it's like just the file name from your current directory, or directory name in your current directory, then file name in that directory, and so on. So as an examples, yeah, of absolute path is like home, admin, workspace. That's all directories. Home is a directory, admin is a directory, and workspace is a directory. And the file 1.txt is a file name. So if we imagine that we are placing in our home directory, in this case, it's a home and admin. So the relative path to the file are going to be something like workspace slash file 1.txt. Some basic commands to navigate our file system. Yeah. So it's pwd, to be simple. It's just prints the absolute path to the current working directory. It means it prints path to the directory you are currently in. Let me show you one more time. Yeah. So window. Okay. So can you see my terminal window?
Yes.
Good. So I just opened up a new terminal window, and as you can see, I am standing right in my home folder, right? Good. So the next command is cd, new location. It means change directory, and the new location. It's change your current working directory to the new location. And if there are no any location typed after cd, you're gonna be returned to your home directory. So let's see. For example, we can type ls, which is, you know, lists comment ls location, lists the content of the directory under location, and if no location is provided, it just shows you the content of the current directory which you got over pwd. So let's see. It's like ls, so it's like content of my home directory, right? So let's tmp. Yes, so I have some tmp folder, and I got some file name named drone over it. For example, if for now I type pwd, I can see that I'm in my home folder, which placed under the users admin tmp, right? And if I just print change directory again, I returned to my home folder. There are some useful shortcuts to traverse your file system. So the tilde is current user home folder. So every time you open up a terminal, you are logged in as some kind of user. Just like you can log in into your workstation with graphical interface. It can be Windows, it can be Linux, it can be macOS. You are logging in as a user, and when you log in with a shell, you're also logged in as a user. So you can also type who am I, yeah, and it's gonna tell you what's your name as a user. So the tilde is a current user home directory. So for example, I can type something like let's say so I change directory to the folder etc Apache 2. It's just some default folder with the Apache configuration files on macOS. Yeah, so I can see some configs over here, and then I can type just change directory, and I'm back on my home folder. So actually, it's you know, not a big deal. I mean, if you can do not type, you know, change directory tilde, but for example, if you want to copy something, let's say we're gonna back to etc Apache 2, yeah, and from here I want to copy this file mime types to the tmp folder under the my home folder. The first way is to type something like copy cp. So cp command is for copying. You always can, you know, something like man cp, and as we can see, cp is copy files. We have, you know, some flags over here. So I hope you all tried something out with the, you know, manual pages and got familiar with it. So let's say I want to copy mime types to my home folder. The first way is to do it is type something like users admin tmp, and that's it. So, and if, as for now, I list the content of this file, yeah, I see the mime types. So looks like it worked. Let's remove it, remove this file. And the thing is, I can not type all this users admin. I can just type tilde, yeah, and again, the file is still here. So the first thing of such kind of shortcut is you know, just less typing, less bumping fingers on keyboard. It's just a handful. The other thing is sometimes, you know, you can maybe just imagine you're writing down some script. Yeah. So you have some program, and this program is installing into user's home directory, and you don't know which directory it's gonna be, what's the name of the user, which user gonna run it. So it's have to be universal, and you can use such kind of shortcuts in your scripts, and be sure that you gonna copy the file into user's home directory, and probably you don't gonna have some devastating problems, and you're gonna be fine. So the other shortcuts, it's 2 dots for the parent directory and the dot for current directory. You know, we can just change directory to the upper one. So as for now, as you can see, I have 2 users on this laptop. Yeah, it's admin and someone who is called Daria Chuksina. And I can change directory one more time to the up, and I'm on the root. So as you can see, I'm on the root catalog, not the operation system, which called Mac OS, right? Yeah. So about the command ll, there is a thing which called alias. Yeah. So and on the shell you are using, it can be bash, it can be zsh, as in my case. So when you're on terminal, you can always watch which shell you are using. You can just call echo and the variable shell, and it's gonna tell you your current shell. So there is a thing called alias, and you can let's say make some predefined aliases. Yeah. So and ll is just you know, predefined alias. I'm gonna show you now. So if we're gonna open my config files, my aliases, right? So yeah, so let's say in my case ll is an alias for the command which called ls minus fg uppercase or ahl lowercase. Yeah, so when you type something like alias ll, so, when you type something like alias ll, right? So it's gonna be saved, right? And every time after that, you're gonna just type ll. Your shell gonna call this alias. So it's gonna call ls minus fghal. AHL, yeah. So let's look what does it mean. So we can just type man ls, and let's see. So we have f uppercase, yeah. So we're gonna search for f uppercase. So f uppercase display a slash immediately after each path name that is a directory, and asterisk after that is executable. So it's just, you know, for visual convenience of the output. Let's see to the G uppercase. Yeah, so G uppercase just enable colorized output. So without G, it's all gonna be black and white, and when G is flagged, it's colorful, and the directories have one color, and the files got another color, and executables files got third color. It's just handful. What about a lowercase? A lowercase include directory entries whose name begin with a dot. On the Linux and Unix file system, there is no hidden files like in Windows, you know, where you can just right click the folder, go to the properties, and make folders hidden. So instead of this, when you want to make the folder hidden, you just name it with a dot as a first letter. For example, you want to make some folders like hidden. It's not a hidden, but mostly they're not going to be showed up by default. And you just start the name of the folder or the name of the file with a dot, and it's, you know, like a hidden. Then we got H lowercase. So H lowercase it stands for, when it used with -L option, use unit suffixes. So it's like, you know, -H means human readable. So we got all this like byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, and petabyte, just to reduce the number of digits. So that stands for just readability. And the -L lists all in long format. So what does it mean? Let's see. So I just type LL. So as you can see, I have all the folders, you know, like it's like purple. It's like .git, that liquid prompt. It's like there's such completions. Yeah. So I have some bunch of hidden files started with a dot and one hidden directory over here. So also I have like you know, is on this column 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th column I have file sizes. So as you can see, it's like 4.7K. So it means like 4.7 kilobytes. Yeah. And that's just because all of these option. Okay. So yeah, good. So actually it's you know, pretty convenient to have files like that. So all that aliases, there are a lot of them. So as you can see, I have about 100 of aliases, and that's you know, the aliases I'm used from time to time. So when you starting to use the shell, the terminal very often, you just you know, trying to make it convenient, because when the big part of your working day is inside the terminal, it's just, you know, it's just smart to make it a better place for you, make it more convenient. And okay, not BSH, but ZSH and bash. Well, I could, I guess, read you another lection about that, but let's say bash is a, you know, like a classic shell. It's really classic, and bash is there, and it's
Nikita, just a second. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You said before that we can make a hidden folder by making mkdir dot blah blah blah.
Yes.
How can we read? How can we show hidden folder? Because ls will show only normal folder without hidden.
Yeah, I just told about that when I explained. Yeah, when I explained the flags of my LL shortcut, you know, and you can add the -A. It's actually not a big deal. It's capitalized A, or it's a lowercase a to the ls. So for example, it's just ls, yes. But I have, I guess, I have, yeah, you know, in my case, I
see it
have
works.
alias to an ls, yeah. So as you can see, my ls is actually ls -afg. Yeah. So But on your case, if you're gonna just type ls, it's gonna be something like without hidden files. And if you type ls-a, you're gonna see them. All right.
Yeah.
Good. So about bash and the sash. So bash is a classic actually. So I mean, on any Linux system you logged in, you gonna have bash, with probability like 99%, and the other one is just, probably the system of some fanatic who don't like bash and somehow removed them from the system. And most of the shell scripts are written in bash. So bash is a classic. Bash is for servers, and bash, is just bash. ZSH is a bit much more modern shell. It have a lot of some convenient things like advanced auto-completion, advanced pattern completion, and so on. And it's like user convenience things. So it's like, it's like bash on steroids. And all of the bash scripts can be run in ZSH, yes, but not all ZSH features are available in bash. So I can say it like that. If you are writing down some script, it's smart to use bash, and it's better to use bash. And my advice to you is to use bash. Yeah, bash. I don't know bash, but yeah. The point is, Isaac. Let me finish my answer to Evgenia, and I'm gonna tell you. So, but for your personal workstation, you can use ZSH. And for example, on the newest version of macOS, starting from 10.13, I guess. So it's like, I don't know, something like El Capitano or something like that. ZSH is actually a default shell on macOS. So the rule should be something like that. If you are writing down the script, use bash. If it's just interactive shell on your workstation, feel free to use ZSH. I'm gonna, just like, and ZSH, just it's like official websites, and it's not a bad idea actually to start your journey from here. If you all wanna, some actual deep drill down, you're gonna be fine. So you can start from here if you want to dive deep into shells, but something like that. So okay, good. Okay, so Isaac, okay, you have bash on your Linux terminal. Can you find your aliases.sh file with a command like find? Well, of course you can, if you have it. So you don't have any aliases sh by default. So let me show you. So there is a thing which called dot files. So dot files, as you now know, mean hidden. So in my case, it's ZSHRC, yes. And we can look at this. So I have it's sim linked. So it's like a pointer. So I have something like a file here which called ZSH. but it's not a file, it's just pointer on another file in my folder .files zsh. Yes. And if we're gonna look at this file, yes, so it's some configs about history, never mind. It's like path and so on. Let me see where I have it. Yeah, so we can see this this line. So it's like source is like open and execute variable.files, and variable.files is my home directory.files. So, and because my home directory, yes, so my home directory is users admin, so .files, yeah, so it means execute this file on this directory. So let's open it. And as we can see here, I have actually, as for now, 2 files executed, right? So I have some aliases sh and function sh. So, and when we open aliases sh, we got this file. So how does it work? We have this file called zshrc, which is executed every time I open up a new shell. So every time I open up a new terminal window, shell is starting this file zshrc and executing all these commands from top to bottom. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like a script for ZSH. So it's like a script with the configs of my shell. And every time he reads this lane, open up this file and execute this file and that and the file with the functions. So, and every time I open up a new shell, all these aliases is executed. So in your case, if you have a bash shell, what you could do? So you could create a file called bashrc, yes, and then start tweaking it. And it's not mandatory, you know, to split up it to a lot of files like I did. So like aliases sh, like all sh and function sh. It's just gonna be, you know, quite difficult for you. You can just start with aliases right into bash rc. So like you can type alias ll. So you can try this. Let's say we can try echo alias ll, right? Equals, like, I mean, ls minus al kfg, yes, and add it to your bashrc, yes. So, and when you add this line to your bashrc, let me, I printed the line into the chat, and we're talking about such kind. You just execute this line with your shell, and I forgot, yes, like this, the, yeah, like this, I mean, so it's the second double quote here, right? So you're gonna add this line into your bashrc, and every time you're gonna start your shell, you're gonna have this ls. So all the concept I'm talking about here is, you know, it's pretty famous, as we can say, and it's called .files. .files, and to be detailed, you can bash .files, right? And you know, it's pretty a lot around here. So I mean, by the way, do we have it on? How this website called? One moment. City. Good. It's like yeah. So I mean, just you could start with this medium. Well, it's not a, you know, like bad introduction. So we don't need there are a lot of ads. So yeah, so you know, it's something personal. So it's just I'm gonna repeat. It's about tweaking your own environment, and we can make a deal with you, Isaac. So if you are really interested in it, you can start exploring it on yourself, and on our next lesson, which is gonna be on Saturday. Yeah, if you're gonna have some questions, feel free to ask them to me.
Okay.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna, yeah, no problem. I'm gonna help you for sure. So if you gonna be really interested in it, so for example, why not? I can show you just my .files, you know, is publicly hosted on the GitHub. So it's, you know, just a repository. And all of my .files are hosted here, and you know, it's kind of pretty convenient because on any laptop, or like any Mac laptop, because I'm using Macs like for 10 years, yeah, I can just clone this repository, and I have all my shell with me. It's, you know, it's can sound like a madness, but it's actually pretty convenient. It's you know, it's like good if you are using shell a lot, like me. Okay, so any questions about what we discussed so far? Anyone? Okay, no questions. I don't know how good it is or bad, but no questions is no questions. So yeah, we talked about shortcuts, and the next next slide, couple of slides is about files. So the point of the Unix and Linux systems is that everything is a file. So the file is a file. The, you know, like network connection is actually a file for operational system. You know, some music is a file. Even the thing you see on your display is a file somehow on your operational system. So everything is a file, and a files is stored on a disk, and all data stored as a files, and every file is associated with the device. So the thing is, even your random access memory, yes, I said it as an Indian guy. So your random access memory is actually also is a disk. So the Linux operational system, the Unix operational system, they working with your random access memories as with disk, and all things you store in random access memory is also a files. And every file can be found on your file system. So all the trick about Unix and Linux is, you know, that everything is file, any information on your workstation, laptop, or server is stored as a file and can be accessed at any time, and you just have to know where to look for it. So the next topic we're going to talk about is wildcards and regular expressions. So regular expressions and the simple case wildcards are just a patterns that can you use to match a text when you are working with a shell. So what are we talking about? So you can use it just like to create patterns. And the process of all of this when you use these wildcards and the regular expressions is called globing. It's just some slang. So wildcards, blah blah blah. I said that. So starting with the wildcards, we are not going go to any deeper than wildcards. So regular expressions, if you are interested, we're gonna discuss it a bit later. I mean a bit later today, but it's think of that as a advanced concept. And the wildcards is just the three types of wildcards that you're gonna use like mostly, like really mostly. So it's the star, that means match anything of any length. The question sign, that means match anything but just for one symbol. And the square brackets and something inside this square brackets, which means match anything that inside of the brackets, but like one of it and only one time. So let's see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I'm gonna open up shell, close this. So where am I? So as for now, yeah, let's change TMP and let's touch so, for example, let's talk about the star wildcard. For example, I wanna find all text files in current directory. Yes, so for example, I have when I type ll, I have like bar txt and foo txt, but I wanna only txt. So I can just type ll star dot txt. Yes, and it's a pattern I created. So it means show me any file that end up on .txt, and my shell just shows me bar txt and foo txt, right? Another example, let's say about a star. I want filter out only the files related to foo project, and all of the files. No, for example, it's like some report I have. So I have some program that generates reports, and the reports are, for example, linked to the name of the project, and my name of the project is foo, and I want to see all of the files related to the foo project, or for example to the bar project. So I can just type ll, for example, bar, and to type a star, yeah, and I have this like bar jpeg and txt jpeg, so for example, let's say I have Is it clear what is going on with the star or wildcard?
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, good. So about question sign. So question sign, actually is like a star, but only for one symbol. Let's say I have lol.txt, I have lel.txt, I have lal.txt, and I have lil.txt. So if I type ll, l question sign l dot txt, yeah, I got all of them. Why? Because it means show me all the files which starts with an L and which have any symbol after L, and then it have l.txt. So I have all of them. And the last concept is a group of options. So let's say with this example with a lol group, let's call it. So let's say I want to see L, let's say IE, txt. Yeah. So I said him show me all the files which are start with a L and follow it up with one symbol from this group. And I have I and E in my group, and then I have l.txt, right? So it's like show me all this, and I have L. I have two of the files, but not have lol.txt or my lol.txt. Nice, right? I know. So it's kind of, shell magic. So here you have some useful links about wildcards, about some regular expressions, which you can read on your free time. So the next topics is about creating files and directories, right? So the first command I showed you already is called touch, and it's just like touch. So touching your file system and create a file. As always, you can use some man touch, and the touch change file access and modifications time. So you can read it up and get familiar with it in details. And another command is mkdir, which means make directory, and just create an empty directory. So I mean, I can say mkdir one more, and then I can touch, so create some file inside the directory. I mean something like one txt, right? So, and as for now, we can see I have one more directory, which called one more dir, and inside this one more dir, I have one more file, right? So it's like about creating directory and files, and you also have a manual for mkdir command. Good. So just like that, it's pretty simple, I guess. But any questions for now?
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. So if we can create directories, we also can delete them, and also we can delete any files. So and for that we have an rm, so like remove, right? So we also have like manual page for it. And you won't gonna believe me, but it's pretty detailed as always, and it have a lot of flags. So, but the most useful for you, I guess, is like just simple rm. So if I wanted to remove some file like rm foo.txt, so I just type rm foo.txt, press enter, and it's gone, right? So I have no any file foo.txt, but as you can see here, I had it, but it's gone, right? So no more the file. And another one flag you actually gonna need is rm -r and directory, which means remove recursively. So for example, I have one more directory, and let's create even another directory, right? Another directory inside my one more directory. And so as we can see, you know, it's like one more directory and another directory inside it. And I can even place another file into another directory. So like this, another directory, another file.jpg, for example, right? So I'm just going to install some utility called tree to make it, you know, kind of a bit visual to you. Yeah, right. So as you can see from my TMP folder, I have actually one more directory, another directory in it, and another file. What's gonna happen if I'm try to delete this one more directory? So let's say I wanna delete it. And rm, just rm is not working because he say is a one more directory is a directory. I cannot delete it. So for that cases, I have rmdir as I can think. So I can type rmdir, one more directory, right? Because rmdir is for remove directory, but he said the directory is not empty. So in that case, I can just type rm minus recursively one more directory, and it's gone, right? So I deleted all of the directory and all of the content of the directory, and there is a pretty like very pretty point. You cannot revert the deletion of the files after you used remove command. So there is no any trash can for remove command. So if you removed something and you didn't had or still having any backup, you know, so it's gone forever. It's like for real, you know. So when you removed it, you probably just forgot about it. If you removed, you know, your photo archive, actually the bad news that it's gone. So you have to be very, you know, like very accurate and very perceptive when you are using this command, because the consequences can be really devastating. So some operational systems, some versions of the Linux actually allow you to shoot in your leg while you're doing something like this, you know. So remove recursively and force. So it means just really force remove. So when operational system tells you, are you sure I want to delete this file? You say yes, and it's not a joke. You can really remove all the files from the root of your operational system and render it unbootable. And if you had no any backup, you know, you're gonna have a very very unpleasant talk to your boss, because that's bad. So um, you're gonna have a bad day, very bad day. So you have to be pretty accurate when you're using something like that. So anyway, it is actually a trash can on the macOS system. It's called a bean if you are using like one version of English, and trash if you are using another. But the point is, there is some reversible way of file deletion, but by default it's not. So just be accurate and read the comment you typed, like very clear, because you can even let's say use something like this. So let's see what file we have. I have the bunch of txt files, right? And for example, I wanna delete all the files which have an txt extension, and as you can see, yes, I deleted all of them. So, and I just type remove start.txt. So you can actually make yourself a bunch of the bad days. So be very careful. Be very careful and make a backups. So it's actually not a bad idea. It's not paranoia when you have backup of your system, backup of your files, because you don't know what's gonna happen. So on the some real life case, for example, you have a laptop, yeah, you, for example, MacBook or some Linux laptop, and you have your master's thesis, right, on it. So it's like your graduate work, your graduate thesis. And one evening on the April or even May, you went to the bar, right? And you got very drunk, right? And you just lost your laptop. And if you had no any backup, right, you just gonna lose all of the theses you are written so far. For example, for 1 year you made a great research, you have had some really nice results out of it, you trained a lot of some neural networks, and you already imagined your top score on it, but you had no backup, you got drunk, you lost your laptop, and it's gone. Right? So but if you made a backup, you just lost some money which costs you a laptop, and you can buy another one, or you can go to the some computers club. Yes, we still have some of those, or you can to lease, or to rent a laptop, and you can restore all of your theses from your backup. Yeah, so it's not seem so devastating. You just lost a laptop, lost money, but all the information you stored is saved and secured. And my advice to you, just make backups. It's really nice. So you don't gonna lose the information. You don't gonna lose your time, because you can just buy another laptop, but unfortunately you cannot buy the lifetime, because the lifetime is gone forever, right? So from the shell, we even have some text editors. So, and the simplest one is called Nano, because it's very small and it's very simple and have a few features. So it's very versatile, blah, 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 and so on. So let's see how it looks. So let's create some file and call it some, I don't know, anime list.txt, right? And let's say you are storing all the anime you always wanted to watch on this list. You open up your favorite or not favorite text editor called GNU Nano, right? And I don't know, like written something like JoJo's Bizarre and it, right? So it's have one title now, and you have like all these shortcuts down here to control it. And I made a bit, like a little cheat sheet for you. So this roof, yeah. So it's actually a control K. So let's see how we could exit. And to exit, we have to press Control X. So you're looking for Control on your keyboard and press X. And he asks us, do we want to modify the buffer? So how it actually works? As for now, it's not a content of the file, it's just a buffer. So the text editor opens up some abstract page of memory, as we can call it, which called buffer. We are typing down something to that buffer, and we are just can save the changes. So we can write down content of the buffer to the file, or we cannot do this. It's our choice. So let's say, because I really looking forward to looking JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, I just say yes. He asked us the file name, and because I open up a file called animalist.txt, he suggests it. But if you just open Nana, this line gonna be blank, and there is gonna be no any suggestion. You can write down some new file name, and we save it, right? So as for now, let's say I wanna open up read down the content of the file, and I see, right, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Not so bad. So why it could be useful for you? For example, you are logging in with an SSH to some remote server, and you just wanna fast fix some config file, or fast fix some file with the code you written so far, and you can open up it with the Nano editor, make some fixes, save it, and try to run it again. So here is a link for the official documentation if you're ever gonna need this. So what can I say to you? The last about text editors, actually there is a few alternatives. We have this Vim editor. It's actually very powerful editor, but there are some some catch-ups. You can just read it down, and some like maybe have some documentation. Let's look Vim tutorial of Vim Actually, you know, they have the tutorial for Vim just built inside the Vim, right? So, I mean, let's see. So I can open up a Vim, right? And when you open it up, you know, you have some help over here. So you can just type help, right? And you have, like always, this help. And you have some manuals. And yes, you have a tutor, as you can see. So you can type tutor. I mean, how it works, right? So, so you type help, right? And you have a, you know, like tutor of the Vim. So I doubt that you're gonna need it right now, but the one thing you have to remember about Vim is how to exit. And if you can see that you're inside the Vim editor, you can see it many ways, but mostly on the top of your terminal, you're gonna see this Vim. You just type double dot, right? And the Q letter. So it's like how to exit Vim, and you can always exit Vim this way. Just remember double dot Q and Vim exit double dot Q, and it's gonna save your life, because you know it's pretty hard to leave Vim editor if you don't know how to do it. So just remember it, it's gonna save your life sometime. Just trust me, if you are ever gonna use shell for the job to make some money, you are gonna face Vim editor one day of your life, and you're gonna have to, you know, close it. So this actually gonna save your life. Okay. So what's next? What's we have out there next? Okay, it's a find command. So the find command, you know, is the only actually tool for searching file in Linux, I mean Unix systems. By the only, I mean the only equals standard, right? So if you have a task to find something inside your operational system file system, you have the only choices to use find, right? So how it works? Well, actually, you know, but I'm gonna tell you, to know a bit more about find, you can just type man find, right? And read about all these options, right? So it's pretty a lot here, actually. So I mean, like a lot, like, yeah. So still a lot. And you have these examples, right? In the end. So now I can say that I made some examples for you too. So, did I? Yes. So the most options of examples you're gonna need is find the most options here you're gonna need of the find is, you know, find by type, right? Find by name, and for example, find by size. So how it works? Okay, let's say we have, let's see what we have. As for now, we have some JPEGs, we have some TXT. So let's make some folders, you know, like make folder D foo, make folder bar inside foo, and make even folder zap inside bar, make some files inside foo, like foo.txt, like .txt, I'm sorry, foo/bar.txt, and like let's make some, you know, like foo foo.jpg inside folder, and let's make some, like right. Let's see what we have. So yes, we have something like that. And let's say we want to find dot means start finding from current directory anything that ends the text. So anything where the name is like any dot txt, right? And I have my animal list, I have foo.txt, I have foo bar txt, and I have foo tra ta 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 ta. So okay, let's say I wanna find anything which contains foo, just foo in the name, right? So I have a directory foo, I have a file foo.txt. Let's say, as for now, I want to find any directory that contains foo in its name. So I mean, I just type the type, so I start find from the current directory, and my filters are the name is contains foo, and the type of the object is D, which stands for directory, like D is for directory, right? So I have, this. So I can also make this bar, and I found the directory foo bar, right? So I can even start, like searching not from current directory, but from the root. And as you can see, I told him, start your search from the root directory and find anything that contain user R, and it have to be directory. And as we can see, I have no any access, but I found the user folder, right? So let's don't allow that. So, and the last thing about find is, it's really pretty cool feature. And the point is, you can not only find items, directories of files on your file system, but you also can execute commands on the files and directories and objects you found. So I have an example for you as always. So like, let's just copy and execute it, right? So I mean, so one. So as you can see, I am on my TMP directory, right? And what's happened? So I told him, find all the files under etc directory and exec the next command. The command is copy. This curly braces mean the thing you found, to TMP folder. And as for now, I have a lot of files from ETC in my TMP folder. So let's take a break for a few minutes and we're gonna finish. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's continue. So, as for now, is everything clear about find and so on? Any questions? Maybe. Okay, so, okay. So the last thing I'm gonna tell you about is a grep, yeah. So grep command is for searching lines inside the file. So as always, yes, so you have this guy to help you, right? So you have all the flags, you have, I guess, some that we, oh no, you have even some, examples of the grep. So how does the grep work? Let's say, right, I have, let's see, do I have some Python project over here? Yeah, for example, I have, this directory with labs of my another group from another university, right? It's all written down in Python, and for example, we see the file called lab2, right? So let's just try to grab some import statement in lab2.py, right? So as we can see, no, I guess it's just, boilerplate. I showed them. So as we can see, I have this line. So from bottle, import route, run in template. Yeah. So I guess you are somehow familiar to Python programming language, right? So what actually going on here is just some importing. But the point is that grep is, just for grabbing something out of files. So in this case, it's about grabbing out the line which contains import statement. That's very simple. You also can, for example, grab all other lines, yes, with the flag -v. So let's grab all the lines that do not contain the import statement, right? Import lab2.py, yes. And we have all other lines, right? So that's it. Also, let's we can as we can see on this fancy slide, we have -c flag, which gonna not show us the lines but count them for us. So let's count all the lines that do not contain import statement. Yeah, so we just added -c flag and we got 18 lines over there. So some useful links for you about grep. I hope you're gonna watch this. And also, I just written it down in Russian. I'm sorry. So sorry. So it's just two of the books. So what are them about? The first books, which call Unix and Linux System Administration Handbook, with a pretty bunch of authors. And actually, you can find this book on Library Genesis, you know. So here, so don't tell anybody that I send this link to you, because you know you can go to jail for piracy, right? And on this site, Library Genesis, you can find modern operating system. So the first book is a handbook. So the handbook, you know, it's like a cookbook. So it's a book which contains some topics, some real world situations about Unix and Linux operation system, and some ways to resolve it. It's actually very useful, just you know, like a table book. Just download it, save it, and the next time you're gonna have some problems with some Unix and Linux, you can be sure that you're gonna find solution in this book. And the other one is Modern Operating System by Andrew Tannenbaum. You know, it's like a classic theoretical book about modern operating system. And as example of modern operating system, Andrew Tannenbaum is observing a Linux system. But it's very interesting book, actually, if you know, if you have some time to spend on reading, and you're gonna need this time, because this book is like 800 pages, like, so it's, I have it on paper, it's like this, but it's you know, it's like light reading. So I mean, it's pretty technical, right? It's actually a very deep technical book, but the language is good, and it's not a problem to read it at all, even if you are, you know, like you know nothing about operating system. You read this book and you actually know a lot, or at least something about operating systems. And after that, you can also use it like a table book. Yes, so, and but the table book for, you know, like more theoretical concepts of operating systems. And you know, I guess that's it. So I guess it's like the basics of Linux you need it. And in my honest opinion, the only thing you need about Linux to start using Linux is a manual command, and remembering that you always can type manual and read a manual about manual, and you always can start from that. And you also have to know that you have a help program, a help command, but I have no any help command on my Mac OS, but I have manual. So I'm gonna be fine, I guess, right? And you're also gonna be fine if you can read in English. But let's say, because we have a course in English, I guess you can read in English, right? So that's it for now. I'm gonna send you the presentation as always on our chat. So questions?
No, thank you. That's clear. Thank you.
Anyone? Somebody? Some questions, right? So, okay, no questions. And then, so that's it for now. I'm gonna see you on Saturday then, right? Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.